Welcome to Travel with Sean. I'm Sean, and today we are in the Vatican City.
The area now known as St. Peter's Square was originally part of the Circus of Nero, where early Christians, including St. Peter, were martyred. St. Peter's Square was constructed in the mid 17th century as a place for visitors to gather, especially during important Vatican events. The colonnades were built to symbolize the open arms of the church, reaching out to welcome pilgrims from all over the world. With 140 statues of saints on top, the colonnades were positioned to draw attention to St. Peter's Basilica. This fountain was completed in 1614 on the site of an aqueduct that existed during the time of the Roman Empire. It also is rich in symbolism. The obelisk was brought from Egypt in the year 37 AD and placed in the Circus of Nero. It was moved to this location in 1586. These wind plaques were created in 1817. Positioned in the pavement around the obelisk, there are 16 marble discs depicting the compass points and the wind associated with them. This Vatican parking lot has access to the apostolic apartments where the Pope lives and the papal offices, and the Swiss Guard makes sure only authorized people enter. The name Vatican was already in use in the 1st century BC as a name for the marshy area on the west bank of the Tiber River. Not long after the death of Emperor Augustus in AD 14, his granddaughter Agrippina drained the marsh and built a garden there. Years later, her grandson Emperor Nero built a racetrack there and called it Circus of Nero, or Nero's racetrack. Tradition states that this is where St. Peter was crucified upside down. The Lateran Treaty of 1929 officially named this area Vatican City and made it a sovereign nation. Fortifications around the Vatican began in the 9th century to help defend against Muslim invaders. The walls were improved and expanded in the 15th and 16th century. You may notice how arches in the wall have been filled in. This used to be a somewhat defended part of Rome with several arches, but in 1929 the Pope and the King of Italy signed the Lateran Treaty, which separated Vatican City from Rome and created Vatican City as its own sovereign national entity. And after that, they enclosed several arches so that there were only limited entry points into Vatican City that could be guarded as needed.
We've ended our tour in the Vatican, and now we're going to head back into Rome and Italy, go see some other sites. Once I cross through this arch, I will have left the Vatican. And now I'm in Italy. I've left Vatican City. I'm in Rome, Italy.
This wall was originally constructed in the 3rd century, and there was a single arch in the middle where the road passed through. And during the 5th century, this passageway was expanded, with more arches added. It was one of two main entrances into the city that served the Lateran Complex, which was where the Pope lived. Since the Middle Ages, the gate has been known as Porta Lateranensis, or the Lateran Gate. The land on this side of the wall used to belong to the Lateranus family until in the early 4th century, Emperor Constantine the Great confiscated the land for political reasons, and after becoming a Christian, gave it to the Bishop of Rome, Pope Militares. In the 16th century, the wall was blocked up and mostly torn down. Reconstruction efforts began in the 19th century after it was rediscovered.
Now we're at the Archbasilica of St. John Lanternes. I have trouble saying that last word. But this is the Archbasilica. This is the main church, main cathedral of the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic faith. Many people think it's St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, but it's not. That is, I guess, more holy than this, but this is the Pope's cathedral. The Pope being the Bishop of Rome, this is the Cathedral of Rome. On my left over here, you see the cross keys. That's the symbol of the papacy, the office of the Pope. And then to the left of there, we see like a shield with an angel with a crown on top. That is the Pope's crown that the Pope receives when he becomes Pope. Now we'll go inside and check it out.
The cathedral was established in AD 324, and the current structure was built in the 15th century. The name St. John Lateran comes from the basilica being dedicated to St. John, and from the Lateranus family name, the family from whom this land was taken. The first Christian emperor and the one who gave this land to the church was Emperor Constantine the Great, whose statue we see here. The pillars inside the cathedral are made of material taken from earlier Roman buildings. The floor features intricate cosmotesque designs, a type of mosaic made of colored stone and glass, typical of medieval Roman churches. This 14th century statue is called Mary, Mother of the Church. It reflects the belief that as Mother of Jesus, she is also Mother of all Christians. Like St. Peter's Basilica, this archbasilica has a baldachin canopy over the top of the cathedral's main altar. This 14th century baldachin symbolizes the divine protection over the altar and the sacraments celebrated there. It represents the heavenly canopy covering the sacred space below. The panels of gilded wood on the ceiling were made based on a design by Michelangelo. The ceiling prominently features the coat of arms of Pope Pius IV and Pope Gregory XIII, who were instrumental in its creation. The mosaic above the bishop's chair was completed in different stages. In the 4th or 5th century, the image of Christ with angels, the cross with stags, and the river border were first. 6 tall saints were added in the 6th century and other figures in the 13th century. The Archbasilica of St. John Lateran is officially called the Papal Archbasilica Cathedral of the Most Holy Savior and of the Saints John the Baptist and the Evangelist in the Lateran. As the Cathedral of Rome, it is the most important Roman Catholic church in the world because the Pope is the Bishop of Rome. The Lateran Palace next to it remained a simple house for the Pope before the 8th century, when popes started adding onto it, turning it into a palace. Pope John the 23rd moved to the Vatican and turned this palace into a museum.
Now we're at the Sancta Sanctorum. It's owned by the Vatican, and this church is somewhat famous. But what it's famous for is what they call the Scala Sancta, the holy steps. These are a series of stairs that led up to the office of Pontius Pilate in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. What happened in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago that involved Pontius Pilate? Yes, Jesus of Nazareth was arrested by Roman soldiers and taken to Pontius Pilate for judgment, and he was sentenced to execution. So, when he was taken to see Pontius Pilate, he walked these steps. In the 4th century, the mother of Emperor Constantine bought these steps and had them brought up here. That was after the Romans had already conquered the Middle East, conquered the Holy Land. Actually, they had done it more than 400 years before Constantine's mother brought the steps up. Anyhow, the steps are kept protected in this little church. And we're going to go inside and take a look, see what it's all about. The official name of the church, Pontificio Santuario Scala Santa. In other words, the Pontificate Sanctuary of the Holy Steps. And you can see there's quite a line of people waiting to get in to walk up those steps on their knees. This little chapel has 2 sets of stairs, one for walking up and going to the next level. The other set of stairs over here came from Jerusalem. This set of stairs used to lead to the office of Pontius Pilate. And the mother of Emperor Constantine had them brought over here. They are considered holy stairs because Jesus walked on them. You're only allowed to go up on your knees. Thank you for watching. Thank you for traveling along with me. As always, I appreciate your support. Until next time, ciao, arrivederci, bye bye.